I said, if you want to grow your business, then you have to do this. He went away and done it. People were then taking his free lead magnet from Taiwan, from Canada, from all over the place. He ended up creating his own Facebook community and now has over 500 people in it. Hi, and welcome back to the Mindset and Marketing Podcast. My name is Matthew Toman, and I am your co-host for today, and this is
Sharon Kirkpatrick.
So we had a ball filming the last podcast, and we decided to give it another bash and see how we get on. The Mindset and Marketing Podcast is jargon-free information around the two most important things in your life, mindset and marketing. You master these two things, and you can achieve anything you set your mind to, whether it is more freedom, more money, more time with your family, working in a job in a business that you absolutely love. The only proof that I can show you is that I am currently doing it. It's all the formulas that I've adapted into all the businesses I have and all the mindset stuff around how I operate in my life. So, Sharon, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here. I'm feeling a bit more comfortable now.
I know.
But, we'll see.
Looking back at the other one, how'd you feel?
I'll let everyone else decide that,
I thought you done great.
Thank you.
The one thing that I love about working with Sharon, and like everybody loves, is the clients. Sometimes whenever they're speaking to me, they say, now, are you definitely going to be working with me through this whole process? And I say, look, Sharon is a better version of me, so she's going to be doing it. Once they meet you, they don't even contact me again. Sometimes,
I know. Oh, well, that's nice. That's because I've learned from the best. You've trained me up, know.
No, we learn from each other, but
that's
sure.
why.
Yeah.
Before we get started, how's your week been?
Really, really good. I was down in Dublin. I'm still in Ireland, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I've been flat out. What podcast have I been listening to? Oh, yeah, I listened to Alex Hormozi's new book. Actually, I've been listening to two books. The second one I'll talk about later because I haven't finished it yet and I don't know whether to recommend it or not.
Okay.
Alex Hormozi's new book, $100 million Leads, I think it is, or $100 million. I don't know. He's got two in that one. It's the newest one that's out. I think it's like I've had to really pause and then go back to it again and pause and go back to it. Some of the stuff I feel like I've already known, so it was a bit annoying. Because I had to sit through it, but then there's nuggets of gold in there, so then I have to go back and re-listen to the stuff again that I've kind of been listening at 1.5.
Okay.
So I keep having to go back, but it's an amazing book for anybody out there. Alex Hormozi's unbelievable. He was in one of my documentaries, The Digital Marketing Revolution, actually.
Mm-hmm.
He's really blown up all over the world. He's outrageously good. So I'm working my way through that, and I'm all about learning. I'm upscaling in paid traffic at the minute, and I think this is the perfect next kind of step, so I'm loving that.
So you've had an educational week?
Well,
Very
I do
good.
like to listen. I do like to educate myself, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's important. I think we all need to.
I had a celebratory week.
Okay, what'd you do?
Well, friends of ours were getting married. They were renewing their 10-year wedding vows. But what was extra special about it was two girls and they had already got married, but it was classed as a civil partnership.
Okay.
Back in the day, the world of Belfast can be a bit backwards. So now we actually got to celebrate and they actually got to renew their vows, but also now be registered as married.
Oh, very good. That's brilliant.
Yeah. So celebrations all round.
So they've had their second wedding. So that's the thing now. You just have them every 10 years.
You can have them every year if you want, but it's nice to know that they're still in love. Isn't it?
Well, my mom and dad's actually celebrating, I think their 50th tomorrow.
That's
I need
crazy.
to actually do something about that, actually. That reminds me. Podcast-wise, what have you been doing?
Oh, I can't really talk about my podcast yet because I'm stuck on one. I'm now in episode 58. And it's all about this woman who went missing in 1997. So I'm stressed out. I still haven't found her.
And how long is the episodes?
Like an hour.
An hour? So 50. So it's been going on for over a year, the same one?
But I'm on speed 2, so it's all good.
Okay, right.
So I'm having to listen to it in a weird kind of sound because it shouldn't be that fast, but I'm trying to get to the bottom of it.
We have a lot of clients actually in the south of Ireland, and I lived in Dublin for 10 years. So, but yesterday I was with Anya and I was listening to one of our clients at 2 times 2. And she was like, what did she say?
They can't, I know, some people can't cope.
It sounded, literally when I listened to it back, it sounded like Chinese. It was hilarious.
Listen, you and I love a podcast, so we have to.
Oh no,
Otherwise, we wouldn't get through them all.
and that's the thing. I'm a bit like my dad. My dad was watching this TV show and he said, "Oh, I'm watching this show and I want it to be over so bad." And I just said to stop watching it. And he said he just couldn't.
Do you ever think now, if you listen to someone's WhatsApp audio and you listen to it on normal, they're speaking so slow, you get really frustrated. You're like, hurry up.
I don't know if I haven't listened to anybody on normal in like
No, I know. It's
a
funny.
long time.
It's funny.
But I think like I'm really delighted that they put it to times 2, but I think people that listen to mine are probably more excited than me because they can get through mine a lot faster because I end up going on, rambling on too much.
But you know what? That leads us into something because I think we should start with the mindset side of things today. Positive vibes.
Okay.
So the positive vibes, they can now fast forward you times 2.
Oh yeah, that's what they're grateful for today. Yeah, definitely.
So I think, isn't that what we wanted to focus on today?
Well, we always want to focus on positive vibes because sometimes the world I find is so negative. Whenever you're listening, if you're watching the news, if you're like just opening up, I deleted YouTube from the app from my phone. I don't have to spend that much time on Instagram. I'm not on TikTok at all. Like I don't even do 1 minute a week. Like whenever I look at my times, like I don't use it, the app. But I didn't realize how much I was using YouTube Shorts. And because I spent so much time in America and now that I've been traveling outside it, I have been getting fed like so many like the political marketing in America is to be, it's a masterpiece of the political parties, how they market themselves because they get people so riled up and so engaged.
Yeah.
And I just found that I was just getting so much negativity. Whenever we were away the other week, I had to delete my phone got full of memory because it hadn't backed up. It hadn't been on Wi-Fi or something. So I had to delete a load of apps. I deleted my Gmail. I deleted my YouTube. Then I spent like several weeks in bliss and didn't really know why.
And that was why?
I stopped looking at, I don't know, political-led marketing that was being driven to me through YouTube Shorts.
See, this is huge. I don't watch the news, so people find that weird. If someone says to me, did you hear what happened here? Or what about that? I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Because you see, if I sit down in front of the TV and the news is accidentally on, it's so negative. Like I can't cope.
So I read The Secret in 2010 and stopped reading the news then. Or started watching the news, reading the news, anything. I stopped the news completely. I didn't realize the news was back in my life. It had made its way back in. That's what I'm saying. I don't watch the news either. So really I wanted to say about trying to keep it positive, but being realistic at the same time and talking about some positive things that was going on.
So ways in which you can be positive to keep your mind happy are what?
Well, you focus on what you're grateful for. And even though it might be something really small, I think it's really important just to focus on gratitude. Even whenever I'm having a crappy day or crappy moment, I have to find where's the lesson in this? What am I grateful for? And just kind of focus on that, even though it's difficult sometimes, whenever you're working and you're overwhelmed. And it's very easy for me to say that, be grateful.
I get it because, sometimes you'd phone me and, throw a million things at me and I'm like, ah!
Yeah.
And then I have to pause and be grateful. And I'm like, thank you, Matthew, for this opportunity. The ability to work anywhere in the world, work with amazing clients, learn from you.
Yeah, well, and then I go back to you about being grateful about everybody on the team, including yourself. But meditation for me has been really a weird one because I got into it in like 2013 whenever I was out in Bali. And it's something that people said to me for years, have you tried to meditate? And I was like, no, it's not for me at all. It's not for me. And then whenever I finally got into it, it totally changed my life. I constantly had anxiety where I was like going to the doctor and saying, no, I'm having a heart attack, or no, I've got a brain tumor. And he's looking at me like I'm crazy. I spent so much money getting like scans. You lie in and you get like, what do you call that? CT, is it?
CT ones, yeah.
I was paying to go private and get MRIs.
Yeah.
Back whenever I thought that I was dying. And then after one meditation session and my whole body like shifted, I was like, oh, right, okay. So this is all in my head.
Did you find it hard to start meditating?
Yeah, the first time I done it, I thought I was going to die. I said to the girl, no, I stopped breathing there. She said, you didn't? And I said, I did. And then she said to me, let's do a walking meditation. So she was like, close your eyes, and like held my hand. Now, it was in a beautiful setting in Bali. It was in Gili Air in this place called H2O plant. And I mean, it was stunning. And it was in the middle of Ramadan. So even at nighttime, whenever we were doing yoga and with the chakra bells, all the fireworks were going off. And it was magical, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I ended up that was my first experience, and then I just forced myself to get into it, and now I use Dr. Joe Dispenza's like 22-minute guided meditation for morning and night, and it just does me. It's perfect. It really switches me off. What's worked for everybody does something different. Everybody works with something different. What works for me not necessarily is going to work for you.
Well, this is the thing. So I've never really done meditation because, sometimes when loads of people go on about something, then it really puts me off.
Yeah.
So I know that everyone's saying you got to go meditate. And then I'm like, stop saying that.
Yeah.
So then I can't try it because I'm like, no, I'm going to find something else that works.
But you go for a run though.
I know, wow. Sometimes.
I know, but you zone out whenever you're running. Like, how do you zone? But maybe podcasts are your meditation.
Well, this is what I mean. So, meditation in its form is obviously, well, generally speaking, people know it as, zoning out, deep breaths, take your mind away, be zen.
Yeah.
Maybe, do you think that has to work for everybody?
I think it comes not necessarily, because some people use like meditation, or sorry, the gym for like getting in. Like mine used to be swimming. My dad's is swimming. Like my dad gets into the swimming pool and swims 80 lengths, and that's his like thinking time, downtime. So funny actually. So my dad has a twin brother and two twins married two sisters. Right.
It's still baffling.
Yeah. So two twins married two sisters. Sharon is engaged to the daughter of the other set of our family, and we all got brought up together in a weird upbringing. I feel like I have four parents, right? So last night, my uncle Pete and my auntie Louise, my dad's twin, are in Italy at the minute. So I've been ringing them and saying how he's getting on, because they're sending me loads of videos and food. And Louise said to me, Matthew, I have to tell you something mental happened today. And I said, oh my God, what happened? My uncle Pete is like, would you say stressed out? Highly strung.
Yeah, he's old school. Like he's a mechanic, think of like an old school mechanic.
But not much patience.
Yeah.
And doesn't drink either. Yeah. He's like 45 years off it, I think. But anyway, she said, Pete was on the beach today, and he said to Louise, you got to lift this rock, got to lift this stone and start to feel it in your hand. And he said, you got to listen to the waves coming in and close your eyes and start to meditate. Now, I was on the phone going, are you joking or something? Turned out she wasn't joking at all. She completely freaked out because it's her husband. They've been together since they were 13. And, she's known him obviously for, I don't know, 60 years or something. Or no, 50 odd years. And she was saying to me, like, he's now trying to get me to meditate. She was like, shut it out. I don't want this. I'm not doing this. And I was like, oh my God, you got to just lift the rock and do it. But the fact that he was doing that, like, completely and utterly freaked me out as well.
I am actually a bit speechless because he's like somebody who's like, just get on with it. That's his vibe. So to pause.
Well, apparently he said he's been meditating the whole time.
Wow.
I know, so maybe you can get into it at some point.
Maybe that's my meditation. I need a rock and a wave.
I know, well, it does sound better whenever you've got the waves coming in and the rocks hitting. But whenever I heard that last night, I have to admit, I was completely shocked. I was thinking there's no way that this is real. So anybody can get into meditation. Anybody can do it.
Yeah. And I think obviously the whole point is it's obviously for you to kind of take a moment for yourself.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are actually afraid.
Like, you can't switch off.
I think a lot of people are afraid of having their own thoughts.
Yeah.
And actually sitting with themselves for a while, and actually just being like, okay, now I have to think and I have to figure this shit out myself.
Yeah.
Well,
right. I would say that's true. And I would say as well, it's a lot, maybe like this fast-paced environment that we live in,
Oh, no.
I don't know, it just feels impossible to switch off.
Yeah.
So it probably is more important now than it's ever been.
Yeah. Like constantly having notifications going on your phone. So on the podcast today, we have like a couple of questions, right? Yeah. Or dilemmas that have been working through with some of our clients. Some people that I'm working with on the Mindset Marketing Academy, I always say to them, do you mind if I share this on the podcast? And they're like, no, it's fine. That's okay. And we do sort of use their experiences and share them on the podcast at different points. And we have so much experience with it on a daily basis with so many different things that are going on in people's businesses. And I love it because you get put on the spot in the moment and you do have to think and you have to say, give me a minute, I'm going to go away and research this. And we're constant. Like, I think marketing really does keep you on your toes. Do you know?
100%, because it's always changing. There's always new ways to market. There's always new platforms to understand. Mm-hmm. There's always new technologies, that will enhance your marketing efforts. So, it's not something that sits still.
Okay. So where do we start?
In terms of, are we going to try and answer some questions
Yes.
top questions that
Mm-hmm.
people have when it comes to their marketing?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think kind of a big one is, how do I promote my business? So say people have, a lot of people will, there's a misconception, I think, that, you have your idea, you potentially have a website, and then the rest should magically happen.
Yeah, that's only the start. That's your
Yeah.
tools. That's the tools for it. And then, there's a part in the Life's a Beast course. I'm not sure what module it is, but we get the students to do exercises. One of the people on it showed a bit of resistance about it.
Okay.
And he said, I said, you've got your lead magnet now. He'd created his lead magnet. It was a calisthenics course, and he had like 5 levels to this course, and he released level 1 as a lead magnet. So I said, well, I didn't say this to him, but in the video, or well, I did say it to him in the video. But then on our weekly call, I said, how did you get on? And he said, there was a part where it says that I have to go and share my lead magnet in other people's Facebook groups. And I was like, yeah, you have to take that and then grow your audience. And he said, I don't really want to do that. And I said, why? And he said, because I don't think anybody would like it. I feel like it's almost putting it in someone else's group. And I said, no, we'll ask them for permission. Do you mind if I share this free lead magnet and a video? I want to show people how to do it. It was called Front Lever, and show them level 1. And he ended up then saying, I said, no, you have to do it. I said, if you want to grow your business, then you have to do this. He went away and done it. Could not believe how much response he had to it. People were then taking his free lead magnet from Taiwan, from Canada, from all over the place. He ended up creating his own Facebook private group community, and now has over 500 people in it, all for this one calisthenics course. And he came back to me and said, I can't believe I wasn't going to do that. He said, I didn't think it was going to work. And I said, people think that organic marketing is dead, that it all has to be paid. With this podcast, like, this is organic marketing in a way. It's free. It's on Spotify. But people listen to this and then they'll come into our network.
Yeah.
Or they'll be a part of things. So saying no to anything is stupid, in a way, because it's not stupid. Like, that's a bad word. Saying no on anything is you're better off saying yes and just taking the risk and chancing it, even though you'll be stepping outside your comfort zone. Probably, like, with a bit of imposter syndrome as well. Like, we all face that at some point as we're growing. So I think that it definitely is something that you have to do.
We see it all the time, kind of touching on that, in that people are they maybe don't realize the work that's needed, because there are a lot of people out there that will say, make it seem like it's really easy,
Mm-hmm.
to get from A to B, A being the start of your business to B being fully fledged business. But it's hard work. You do have to be able to be committed to putting the effort in, to finding those communities online for free, to reaching out to, people within the social channels that are, able to maybe make use of what you have to say, or also create free content, like you mentioned there.
Yeah.
It's not just a case of creating a product or service, putting it online that it can be sold. You need to build confidence with your audience. You need to let them know that you're there and you're prepared to give them the information that they need. So for us, we always talk about what we call freebies or low ticket offers, especially if you're starting out as a new business, to gain that trust with your target customer. You need to be giving them content of value.
Yeah.
Or for free.
You need to add value into their life. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't just expect to say to someone, hey, I've started this new business, now trust me and pay me.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing whenever someone says, I need to see, your CV, or I need to see stuff like that. I'm putting together, I got asked to make a CV this week because I'm going on to that board. I'm like joining a board. It's like a second job for a really good company. They've asked me to be a board member. And they said, can you send me over your CV? The last CV I had was whenever I was like 17, working in Avondale Foods, making coleslaw. Like, I
just send it as it is.
Could you imagine? I know. So I was like, God, I need Sharon and Daniel to help me with this.
Because so we're writing a CV this week.
We're doing CVs this week.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And that's good, because then I'll be able to teach people how to put the CV together. But anyway, it's like, whenever I was saying, like, I don't have a CV, I'll have to go back and look at one. And a lot of entrepreneurs don't, because they just go out, and then you have to then build the trust and confidence and be honest with somebody. If you don't know in that moment. Like sometimes someone will ask me a question on a group call and I'll like give all the information that I know and I'll be like, but let me come back to you next week on this because I need to do a bit of research.
Yeah.
But then I will go away, research it, probably listen to several podcasts in that week, maybe listen to a book about it, and then come back with more well-armed for information
Yeah.
for that. So it's not about knowing everything. It's about knowing enough to get you by and then having the hunger to learn more and I want to learn more, you know?
Yeah. And then do the work on the other side of it. So make that CV, you know,
Yeah.
make that free download, make that free VSL that
Yep.
people are going to be able to connect with.
Yeah.
Another thing that we always come across when, and again, this is for people who are maybe just starting out in business with their first product or service is, you know, a lot of the times you see it everywhere now, you know, about having reviews. So if it's something new, you might not have reviews yet, but it doesn't mean you can't get them. You know, you have a bank of family and friends,
Yeah.
you know, that you can either gift that product or service to, ask them to be a part of that experience, you know, and gain those reviews that way because, you know, we've heard some people making up reviews, which is not the way to go because you can
it's
tell.
illegal as well. You can't do that. You
I
can't
know.
give like don't do false reviews, you know.
No.
Give your product away to somebody and get some feedback on it. That feedback is essentially a review and you can say, "Hey, I just reword like can you sign off on this as a what's the word?
Testimonial.
Testimonial, yeah."
Yeah.
I think a company actually in the States, I read an article on it and completely freaked me out. Not for myself because I would never do it, but even whenever I see some of my clients do it and I have to pull them back from doing it, there was an Amazon drop shipment company, and I think he was the biggest in the world. I think he was doing hundreds of millions, but all of the reviews and the money that they were making was all false. They had like falsified like so many things, and it ended up being done by the advertising standards in America. They'd been reported so many times. And I think they end up in court. He could end up going to jail. You know, you can't.
Sounds like a podcast we would like. Do you not think?
I know I'd be listening to that one. Yeah.
But I think like, you know, and that's actually another thing just to think about is, you know, whenever you're kind of starting to release, you know, your business or whatever it is, product service online, is to kind of try and be in a position. You're not going to be in the best position that your business will ever be in, but try and line it up so that it's in the best position that it can be in that at that moment. So do the research, get your friends, get your family involved, figure all that out first, get all those reviews, and then whenever you go to launch your product online, you know, it's more relatable, it's more sellable, and you have ironed out all of those issues that could potentially happen with your paying customers.
Yeah. I started writing Life's a Beach whenever I lived in Montecito or in Highland Park in LA. So I lived there from, I think I just turned 39 at the time. So when was that? Like 2 years ago or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
I just started writing that January. And actually recorded like a good part of it in that house. Most of the videos are actually recorded there and then we added to them later. Then we spent a full year writing the course, testing it with people. Then we spent a full year working with people to make sure they could make money back, as well as running the formulas through Bankhouse Media. But now the Academy is fully fledged. I know it works. Be patient.
Yeah.
Do you know, we have like really solid, good reviews now from a lot of people that have been through that process. Even some of my clients now are texting me, just sold another course. And I'm like, brilliant. Just keep, you know, steadily moving forward. And not many of the people that have actually been through the Academy have moved on to paid traffic. They're still selling everything through organic.
Yeah.
But it took me that long to go through it. And, you know, I only put the sales page live on my own profile, on my website and on my Instagram link in bio when we were in Portugal.
Yeah.
Like that was like almost like a year and about 18 months altogether, a year and a half or just over until I actually said, yeah, we're
ready to go.
Until I'm ready to bring it to market. But I was selling it through the time and was working with people one-on-one. But until we also made a movie, The Digital Market. There was a lot of work going on in the time. I wasn't just working on that.
Yeah.
But so be patient. Whenever you're starting a business, the reviews will come. Just focus on adding value.
Yeah.
Focus on adding value. Add more value, make more money.
Yeah.
Do you know, and that's it. It comes down to that. Just keep adding value. Do more than what you get paid for at the start. Do way more than what you're getting paid for, because the people will have a good experience and they'll come back to you.
What about though, you know, because we had mentioned this earlier about friends and family maybe not being on board with the new idea. Maybe, you know, your partner's like, look, I need your help at home. I don't need you thinking about this side business or whatever, or your family like, I just don't get it.
I think in that, like, I come up against so much resistance from friends whenever I was going through stuff and trying to get them to get on board and come and do my course and will you do this for free? And a lot of people weren't into it. They didn't get it. You got to look and say, you know, I always say whenever I'm in a bad mood, right, and I'm maybe giving off about something or somebody, it's usually a reflection of how I'm feeling at that moment, right? So it's usually something I'm frustrated at myself about that I should be doing. So sometimes whenever I'm getting feedback now and it's negative, and I think it's genuinely not coming from a good place or an accurate place to the work that I'm bringing forward for them, I sometimes think maybe somebody might see you evolving and maybe has reflection on maybe they're not evolving, and that might come out in an opinion towards something that you do. You got to look and see how much you value this person's opinion. You know, that's what I would say. Like, how much of this person's opinion are you valuing?
Well, what do you mean? Hold on. So say, for example, Rachel's like, no, Sharon, I'm not feeling that at all. So then do I go, well, then
I would take her advice on board if it was Rachel, because she's also like a business person. She's got her own business and she's got like a bit of I would listen to Rachel's feedback and I would dissect it and then I would see if it's relevant or not. Right.
yeah.
But if it was my mum, right?
Poor Christine.
I said that I was opening another business. Like, you know, my mum said to me whenever I had lost my houses, I told you not to buy that last one, you know?
Yeah.
So they'll say to you, no, because she's trying to protect me. You know, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to build this other business? Like, is things not going well for you now? Is it not too risky? So you got to see where that person's coming from. Are they trying to protect you by saying, this is a big risk that you're about to take? I don't think that you should do it. You know, maybe they're not a risk taker themselves. Maybe they've never been a business owner. Maybe they don't understand your thought process. Maybe they're not really understanding where you're coming from. So you got to start to really think, you know, how you know, qualified is this person to to give an opinion on what I'm asking them? And that's not just to be insulting towards the person. It's just about experience.
Yeah.
I would rather take the experience from like another business owner, a peer, a mentor, someone who's maybe done it before. So if you're excited about your new business idea and your partner's saying, how much is this going to cost us? We've got a mortgage. Are we going to lose our house? The kids have to go to school. I have to buy school uniforms. They're not going to come with an opinion that says, great, brilliant, let's go do that.
Yeah.
They're not going to be that supportive because they've got a whole load of other questions that is there, which I don't advise anybody to forfeit their children's educational fund for a business.
Mightn't be a good idea.
No, like focus on, as long as you've got all that in place, and then you can move forward with not taking a risk that it directly involves anybody else.
And that's kind of what, you know, that's kind of what we're trying to say, you know, with the whole kind of mindset and marketing thing, where it doesn't necessarily have to be a full-time commitment. You know, it can just be a couple of hours in a week.
Yeah.
You know, that you're focusing solely, phones off, in the diary, these are the hours I'm spending on it. So it's a bit easier then to go to somebody and say, look, I get all of that. Kids go to bed literally 1 hour every other night. You know, I'm going to spend it on that, and kind of talk through it in that respect. Because if you do make a big drastic change where you're impacting, you know, the household finances, or, you know, which impacts then everything in life, that can be met with a lot of fear, a lot of criticism, and a lot of stress.
Yeah, stress.
You know, and I mean, that's not really the way that you want to.
Yeah, and you gotta bring the product to market for the cheapest possible way, like under $1,000. Do not spend under $1,000 or over $1,000 bringing your product to market to see if it works. And that's even like putting a post up on Facebook for free and saying, hey, I've got a new course coming out on, you know, fitness or food or whatever that may be. DM me if you want to have any interest. If 2 people DM you and they seem interested and they seem what's going on, maybe that's something you could build on. You can put it into a Facebook group for free as well. You can start to change your bio on your Facebook page and your Instagram page and start reaching out to people and saying, hey, I've got this new service that I'm providing. I'd love to give it to you for free. Would it be something that you would avail of? And if they say yes, then there's maybe a business in there. So you can start to do it for free. You don't need to spend 10 grand. Like you don't course there's some people sell mindset courses for like 12 to 15,000 pounds sterling,
Yeah.
right? To people, and the person is not ready for it. They don't even
Yeah.
know if they've got a business that's right. And they just those companies focus on, oh, are you in alignment? Being in alignment is not enough. You have to know that you have a product and service that is valuable to somebody else,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, whenever you think about how you create a bank house, and mindset and marketing, you build it slowly,
Yeah.
and
Well,
you invested when you could, when it grew,
oh yeah, and I'm still doing that. I'm
Yeah.
still like we have like a good like bank of staff. Like there's about 14 there,
Yeah.
that are on and off at different times depending, and that will scale or come down depending on the work or depending on the direction that we go in. But I have safeguarded myself because I went bust before in the last recession. It's not going to happen again.
Learned your lesson.
Yeah, well, I know that I didn't want to go through that again, so I built a digital business which safeguarded me, and now we're moving into AI, which is safeguarding us even further.
Well, that's the benefit of online businesses. You don't need the huge capital
Yeah,
to get things up and running,
yeah, you've used no overheads.
So positive vibes, don't work hard, work smart.
Yeah,
And yeah.
I think it's definitely like you gotta work smart. Yeah, use your brain, and
I want to say don't work hard. You obviously have to work hard, but I mean,
yeah,
it doesn't have to become your whole entire day.
yeah. Just whenever you're starting a business, right? Just be aware of one thing. You're going to become obsessed with it. You're going to become obsessed with the product and service that you sell, and you're going to talk about it a lot. A lot of people around you, including your partner, your friends, your family, they're not going to want to hear it. So be cautious of like where you're talking about it and whereabouts you're going with that, because there might be there could be a time whenever you think they're like giving some negative vibes your way, and it's better just to like keep it to an area that you're able to in a surrounding and with people that can help and bring you forward.
Yeah. Well, I think that is a valid point because you do get excited about something and you talk about it nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
And then if that's not you who's doing or talking about that, it can be a bit annoying. But then if you're getting those negative vibes back, that may put you off or deter you from going forward. It's like everything in life, too much of anything,
Yeah. Yeah.
is not good for you. So try and just get the balance.
Yeah. I think Rachel's found that now because of her CrossFit. She's not torturing everybody to go and do it now.
Do you think she's going to love being mentioned?
I always mention Rachel anyway, because actually she really inspires me. I think she's one of the best business people I know and one of the most talented singers. Like she has what she's created, like just out of like an actual talent turned into a service. And then with her products, her upsells, like her cross sell, like, I mean, she done all that without just, I think.
She literally put the work in, she reached out to people in the network that, that she could benefit from knowing and talking to and who could talk about her. And she, I think, boosted a couple of posts on Facebook for like a couple of £100, and that's, now and she's fully booked for the next 2 years.
Well, the other thing, I know 2 years ahead, that's insane. But the thing, what she always does say as well, and we always say is like, use the term, don't be a dick. Right? But you can say it like, just be sound. Just be nice, be enjoyable to be around. Because if you're not, then it's going to suffer.
Do you know one thing she does really well is brings personality to her business, so it's not just all about work. Like it's not just all about selling her services. You get a real insight into who she is as a person.
Yeah.
A bit of crack with her online, so she's kind of, and you need that now in business, there's so many people out there doing that.
Yeah.
People are shopping online now more than ever. So it's important that your online presence reflects your brand's personality. And I think that's a big part of Rachel's success.
I agree. Yeah, like the main thing to realize whenever you're running your business or starting your business, it's not going to be easy. Be patient, have a mentor or like a group of peers that actually are going to help you. Even joining something like mindset marketing or another like-minded thing like that. Do not spend more than £1,000 on a course when you're starting. Like, I can't stress that enough. Just do not do it. And then there's so many free entry points with all the people out there with their lead magnets. Test, see what's going on with the market, see who resonates with you, and then just introduce yourself, say
Yeah.
hello, and try to get like a conversation with them, because the right people will pick up the phone. The people who don't pick up the phone to talk to you, don't waste your time trying to get their attention. Move on. If they're just looking you to pay from day one, I strongly advise you to just move on, because if people aren't prepared to like offer you something for free or time, then you're really going to struggle. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching and listening, and we will see you on the next one.